Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be repotting my Acer Palmatum Jordan. Enjoy. So we have come to, I believe, the second from last repotting for my outdoor trees, in quotation marks. So yeah, it's my Acer Palmatum Jordan. I bought this in a bundle with the Going Green. So if you haven't heard, it was a lady that was on Facebook sales selling both of them for £20, so £10 each. And they're probably about 3-foot trees when I bought them. As always in bonsai, the first 1 foot is probably all that's needed, so the rest came off. I did try and air layer a couple of bits off of this one and the Going Green and sold them on, or gave them away to people. Just try and make the money back really. That's kind of what I do with all these trees, that, especially if I know that they're nursery stock and the top needs to go anyway, I don't mind waiting a little while to air layer it off and then get my money back that way, so it makes it an even cheaper way of doing this hobby. So I'm just going to cut through quite a lot of this repot because I know you've seen it all before. There's not much point of going over and over and over stuff. So in simple terms, the root ball in this wasn't, it was okay, but it wasn't exactly great for how long it's been in this pot. It was in perlite, Johnnins and vermiculite, and over the winter it's held a lot of water weight. It just wouldn't drain at all. It's like a soggy mess. So this year I'm looking to get this into, well, this one's actually going into a mix of Akadama and pine bark, just because I want to see the difference between pure Akadama on my Going Green and Akadama and pine bark on this one, see if there's any differences there. So a little bit of experimentation for myself. But generally just going to reduce this root ball and get rid of all the unwanted long roots. Obviously the kind of soil it's growing in, you don't really get many fine roots. It was more just for growth reasons. Wanted to thicken the trunk up, wanted to make sure that it gained vigour after all the cutbacks that I'd done. So this is a grafted tree, so I'm pretty sure you can see the graft there around that first branch. The graft isn't terrible, but it isn't brilliant either. I'm hoping over time, obviously, that kind of merges and you can't see a lot of it. There's a lot of, even the older bonsai kind of maples in this country would have been grafted at some point. It's either that the graft was very good and it's hidden well, or that over time they've kind of merged together well and the graft kind of goes. Obviously maples being fast water moving, they grow quite quick. So there's a picture of when I first bought it. And then this was last year? Yeah, I think, no, maybe 2 years ago. First time I repotted that, and then obviously in autumn of last year I moved most of the other branches and just come back to a basic structure. So these roots are nearly ready now. I believe in this video I've skipped past the part where I've sort out, like, get the pot ready and all that kind of stuff. We go straight into adding some soil on top. So what I'm using here is, so on the bottom layer there I've got a 4 to 6 millimeter Akadama grade, and that's just for drainage. It's a shallow pot. Shallow pots, you know, hold a bit more water sometimes. So yeah, a bigger grade in the bottom, and then I've gone for a 3 to 4 millimeter throughout the whole pot. And then what I'm actually going to do with this one is I'm going to try and top dress it with, I think it's 1 to 2 millimeter Akadama and some fine pine bark, just to get more water retention. And again, I kind of like to do my own experiments as well, and for me the best way to learn is to actually do it. So by doing this I can then See if it helps out in future. See if it's any better than just pure Akadama. So the Acer Palmatum Jordan isn't the greatest species for bonsai. I say that because the internodes are very long. The leaf size is very large. But as I say, I bought this in a bundle with another one and I just thought, well, I might as well give it a go, right? And sometimes there's nothing wrong with having a bonsai that has a larger leaf. You don't always need the most minuscule leaves, and you know, in the back of my mind I think I'm never really going to be at an expo displaying these kind of trees, trying to win awards or anything, so at that point as well, then why care so much, right? It's a great hobby to just kind of experiment and do what you want with, really. As long as you apply the same techniques and the same rules to your trees, it doesn't really matter what the leaf size and stuff looks like. Obviously it'll never look like a truly miniaturized tree, but even if I can reduce the leaf size by half on this, I'll be quite proud of myself. So this one's in a larger pot as well. This is a plastic training pot. I put in a large pot because I do still want to grow it on, although obviously I'm restricting it now by putting it in bonsai soil with Akadama and stuff. That's just to try and reduce the internode size. But I do still want it to grow strong, if you know what I mean. It's going to grow strong but slowly, rather than being out of control like it was. You know, last year, the first flush of spring, with the soil that it was in, I believe I had an internode. One of them was about 4 inches long. There's not much you can do with that kind of internode, so instead of every year having to cut it back really strong every time, I'm hoping this kind of changes the growth habit of the tree and grow it a bit slower. And eventually I can use this as a winter silhouette tree as well, as long as I can get some good movement into the branches and stuff. It doesn't have to be in leaf to look good. Obviously there are species out there that are suited for that winter silhouette. So as always, getting some water onto the pot there, making sure that all the substrate is soaked. I need to find a new nozzle top for this hose watering can. I snapped my actual hose one, then I've had to retrofit this. And I always like to lift up the pot, make sure the water's draining through. So here the water isn't draining through, which means that the substrate is taking up all that moisture. There's none left. So we keep on watering until we see water coming through the bottom. I also like to water again another couple of times for the first day of the repot. And then from then on, I'll probably water these trees twice a day, every day. In summer, I might move up to 3 or 4 times, depends on how hot it is. This year I need to practice on giving my maples a bit more shade as well in the heat of summer. Last year I just kind of left them to fend for themselves and a lot of leaves crisped up. My Shirasawanum kind of lost a branch because of it. I'm very good at growing coniferous trees and not so great at deciduous, which seems to be the other way around for most people, especially in this country, but each to their own. So as you can see, this has got some movement. It's nice subtle movement at the bottom. I find it's quite natural. There is a long internode above that first branch on the left, which I'm eventually probably going to get rid of. I'm probably going to air layer that off and then try and make a more of a marmee sized tree out of that one and then carry this on from that left branch. But I'm just going to leave it for a little while and see how it goes. If you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification. I'll see you soon.